Good morning and welcome to the Vision Alignment Show, where we all understand how important it is to have our core beliefs, our core values in alignment with our vision. So think of that vision as what it is you do, and what do you want to see in the world? Well, how do you want the world to perceive you? And understanding that is going to make all the difference in the world, because then you are going to have your vision, your core beliefs, your core strengths, your core values aligned with that vision. Oh, and it's really important for us to be able to do that in order to be successful in this world. And part of being successful, get that word out, part of being successful is being happy. And being happy usually comes, really genuinely comes when you are able to serve other people. And that is what we do on this show. We serve other people with helping them to understand what it is that they have, what it is that they need to know. That doesn't sound right. But what it is that they can know in order to be happier, to be more successful. I can't tell you how glad I am that you're here with me this morning. It's awesome. It's awesome to have you on, but there's just a lot of good things we're going to cover today. Stick with me, and we'll be right back. No, we will be right back. Awesome. I'm so glad you're here. And good morning, Ted. I see Ted is on this morning. Anybody else that's on, would you please put in a hashtag live where you're coming in from? And if you're listening on replay, put in a hashtag replay. Again, let us know where you are, and that will be helpful for us to understand the impact and the reach of this community and how we can serve you better. So I want to offer that up as well. In order for us to be more successful in this show, let us know how we can serve you better. Are there certain topics do you want to talk about? Certain areas where you're struggling with, or you're just not getting there? Well, tell us about it, and we'll hopefully help you in terms of what it is you can do to break through some of those barriers. So I appreciate that. Also, put in a picture of you in your timeline. I've asked this before, but put a picture of you in your timeline and a picture of you winking. And when you wink, I want you to be thinking about what makes you unique. What makes you unique? Because I know what makes me unique, and it's not my eye. What makes me unique is my willingness to share my story with other people in order to have a lasting impact on their lives. So that's what makes me unique. Can't tell how excited I am about this. Part of my speech is what makes me unique, and that willingness to share my story. So I do that, and I'm having a lot of success I'm having a lot of success. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm so proud of all that we've done in order to get to where we are today. And we're just going far above and beyond. So that's exciting. Also, if you would, so signing on to that, or signing on, but putting that picture in your timeline, if you tag me on that picture, and if you've done it before and you've got a book, do it again. I'd love to have you give the book to somebody else. That would be great. But put in the timeline your picture and then tag me on it, Brian Wagner. And then also, if you would, put in a hashtag of Brian with one eye and a hashtag of Winking with Wagner. So that would be great if you would do that. And then you're going to be entered into a raffle to win a free signed copy of my book. Sometimes it does, right there it is. Sometimes it does take a brain surgeon. So that would be great. What else can I do? BrianWagner.live. So if you go out to BrianWagner.live, you'll find more information on me, but you'll also be able to sign up for this newsletter of sorts called Vision Insights, where we begin to understand the importance of having our vision aligned, but we also talk about stories, that of examples and how we've seen people's vision come to life. That would be great if you would do that. So if you ever have any questions about anything like that or anything at all, just ask me. And go to Brian at aradicalvision.com, aradicalvision.com. So that would be great. What else? I think that's it. Oh, share this video out with as many people as you can think of. That is additionally where more viewers come from. So if you would do that, I would really appreciate it. And we have a few other people on this morning. My friend Jane. Good morning, Jane. It's good to see you this morning. It's so nice to have you on. And Ted from Woodstock, Illinois. Thank you very much. They're in Chicagoland, northwest part of Chicagoland. Very cool. So what I'm hoping to talk a little bit about today is how my dad always used to say, and my brothers and sisters would probably remember this, but he used to always say, when we would say we do something good, or things would be going well, and we talk about it and talk about how proud of ourselves we are, he would say something like, do you want a medal or a chest to pin it on? Now, I think that's funny, but my dad grew up and he went through the Army. So in the Army, I'm sure there are certain times where they use that phrase, that saying, do you want a medal or a chest to pin it on? It's just a humorous way of looking at life, and a way of understanding, sometimes we do good and it's just the right thing to do. I heard a YouTube video this morning from Dr. Bertrice. Bertrice. I lost her last name. Maybe Brown, maybe not. But anyway, she talked about how we sometimes have those things that we just need to do. It doesn't matter if anybody's looking. It doesn't matter if anybody cares. It doesn't matter anything like that. So we just need to do those things and not expect anything for it. I look back and think of how other instances like that have happened to me. So tell me a little bit about what you think about that. What do you think about doing things that are just right? How do you just do those things? Are there times where you struggle with doing the right thing? Because sometimes it's hard. Where there may be a lucrative a way of getting around something, or there may be a more beneficial way for you to look at something. I wouldn't say look at something, but more beneficial way to handle something that you normally would not handle. That sounds really, really obtuse. It doesn't make any sense. So let me give you an example. You very simple. You come in from the restaurant parking lot, and in the restaurant parking lot there is a dollar bill laying on the ground, or I don't know, maybe it's more than that. But you come into the restaurant, you put that in your pocket, and who's going to tell you? Who's going to tell that dollar bill was, or $10 bill, or more than that? Who's going to tell if that was there? Well, nobody knows. Nobody sees. Nobody sees you, but you see you, and you understand that that you've seen that. So what do? Well, most people would go in and have a conversation with the waiter. I'm sorry, the hostess, or someone else, a manager maybe, and tell them about the dollar bill that you found. So, and I see my friend Linda is on this morning. Good morning, Linda. Awesome. Good to see you this morning. And yes, from Charleston, West Virginia. So Ted says, when I would get upset as a kid or parents used to say, do you want some cheese with that wine? And then I would brag a little too much about something. My parents would say, can you pound your chest a little louder? That's good, Ted. Very similar to what I experienced with my family. So, I think that those sayings are across the board. Across the board, they most families have something like that where they want to make sure that their kids stay humble. I think is where this is going. If you have other ideas, by all means, let me know. I'd love to hear about them. But doing the right thing is one of those things where you just have to do it. You don't have to do it though. Nobody's looking. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle that situation? So that's why I think that it's important for us all to understand our core beliefs, our core values. What do we believe at our core? So, having said that, I think we can all learn a lot from that. But that also takes me on to the next part of this, where we can begin to understand how to encourage other people. So for me, I've spent a lot of time at the School for the Blind, and to get a chance to spend with so many people that from different walks of life that are blind or partially blind or going blind, or they have dark blindness or whatever they have. How do we encourage them to do better? How do we encourage them to love life? How do we encourage them to continue to succeed? Well, that's a really interesting part of this. So we actually have tonight is the Ohio State School for the Blind prom, and we're going to have I think there's 20 some kids that'll be there. Plus, I would assume they'll have a friend, a date, and then some parents will be there as well. But with the prom, comes a big celebration. How do we encourage them to continue to just do better? So what's funny is working with the kids from the School for the Blind. They don't realize that that something is different about them, and sometimes they do, but it's not like you walking down the street and you look, oh well, that guy's different, or that girl's different. They don't look at it that way. They look at them living their life the way they live their life and getting by with what they can get by with. So that to me is one of the most encouraging aspects of working at the School for the Blind, is to understand that those kids, that these people that we work with disabilities understand that they have disabilities, but they don't rely on them to do anything. They rely on themselves in order to make the world a better place. And those 3 P's that I've talked about before, with patience, perseverance, and perspective. Those 3 P's make up so much of the students I've worked with there, and I'm just so thankful to have spent the time with those students. So patience, where they begin to understand that, how important it is to let other people have a talk. Other people have the talking stick. They're so kind and so gentle with all that. So um, patience, perspective, where they understand their point of view, but they also can take another person's point of view. It's easier for them to do that. I don't know exactly why, but it's important for us to understand that the person that we perceive with disabilities probably is us. It's probably us because we don't know how things are being construed, or how things are being handled, or how things are being perceived by others. And that's where the perspective comes in. Having that perspective, that look on life, it's just amazing. I wish you all could go with me to the School for the Blind and get to experience, the students that are living in the cottages, and the students that are, going home during the day because they're close enough to be able to do that, and get to experience, what they experience on a day in and day out basis. It's just so gratifying and so humbling, and it's so worthwhile. So I look forward to continue on to have this conversation. There's so much that we can learn from all those students out there. But again, I go back to the saying my dad had with, "Do you want a medal or just a minute on?" I think that what he was trying to get at was not so much that we have this ability to be proud of ourselves for something we know we should have done, but more that he wanted us to stay grounded, to stay within our ideal core, which is to do good. But there's more to it than that. I think of some recent conversations I've had in the last few years with a guy named Chet Scott, and Chet and Carrie, they have this the opus that I've told you about before, where we have an overarching vision of the P is for purpose, the U is for unifying strategies, and the S is for a core scorecard for success. Now, understanding your opus, it means asking yourself questions and answering, questions about 30 questions about, what do I believe? If you write down 30 things you believe in, you're going to get to some real good, meaty stuff if you're honest with yourself. And then 30 things about what makes you, what you want to do with that. So in regards to what you believe in, what can you do with that? So that is really where you begin to know your true self, your true course, your true beliefs. So that's important for us all to understand. There's just so much goodness to be learned if we're able to go deeper and go farther with what we have and what we've gone before. So, having said that, I appreciate you all being on this morning. This is phenomenal. There's a lot of good conversations, a lot of good comments that you all come up with, and I look forward to being back on tomorrow, where we're going to have a friend of the show join us, Mr. Dave Caperton. So he's going to join us because there are going to be a few days next week that I'm going to be gone, and Dave will come in and he will lead the show. So possibly Monday and Tuesday, there will be nobody, so we probably won't have a show. But hopefully, days after that, Dave will be on, and we'll continue the show from there. If there's ever anything that I can do for you, by all means, let me know. I'd love to help you in any way that I can. But remember, as always, keep one eye on the road.